Hello everyone, welcome back to the DeClerc Homestead. Today I'm going to give you a tour of our Scullery, which is our version of a homestead, summer kitchen, milk house, and butcher shop. Now, it's been a while since I've made a video about this space, so before I get into the tour, let me do a quick recap of how this project came to be. When we moved in here, we had a third stall garage in the back of our main garage that we kept our freezers in. It was kind of a dumping ground. And when we brought home our first milk cow, I quickly realized how many dishes that also came with. So I wanted to get a utility sink. And of course, if I'm going to get one, I want the biggest one possible. And we decided to install it in this portion of the garage. So that involved a whole finishing build out of putting up a wall to separate it from the rest of the garage, which is Tommy's workshop. We also closed in the door that went into our mudroom so that we could fit the sink on the side of the wall with the plumbing. And we also swapped out the man door that was in one corner of the garage to just be a regular window. And then the overhead door, which was in terrible shape anyways, we ended up swapping out for these French doors that I got off of Facebook Marketplace. They were much more practical for what we were going to do in this space. And after that, we finished it off by just covering the walls with metal and some shiplap and lots of outlets. And that was kind of the end of phase one of this project. Once we got the sink installed and I could actually start using it for my milking supplies, we were good to go. But we have used this space so much. We've canned literally thousands of pounds of food out in this space. We have cooked meals here all summer long. We have butchered tons of chickens and turkeys, and we even butchered our first beef in here last winter time, processed tons of pigs. This has just been like such an incredible asset to our homestead as a secondary kitchen space so that we can keep all of the chaos of food processing out of our main kitchen in the house, and we can keep that available for actually feeding people day to day. So that is what this space is for. That is what we use it for. I'm going to give you a tour and show you some of kind of the specifics of the space. And then I'm also going to share some of the things that we have on our list for this year for kind of a phase two of this project. So to start, just to give you an idea, this whole space is only about 17 by 17. So it's not huge. And we have one extra fridge out here, 2 upright freezers, and 1 chest freezer. And we keep them all on the same wall. They actually have all of their own electrical panel system, so that way we don't really have to worry about them getting tripped and going off, which is really nice. This wall that we're looking at with the sink on is the one where the door went to the mudroom, and we decided to add the sink to this wall because the mudroom also has the washer and dryer, so we could connect the water lines directly to it. Now, this rack that is above the sink, I always get questions about. This is just a wooden rack that Tommy made for me to be able to dry my milk pails and my jars. And we recently added screws for me to hang other things like canning tools and just random things that I found I needed to hang. So it's very simple, but it's been really handy to have for drying things out in this space. The other thing that's nice is that this door in the corner here actually leads directly down into our basement, which is where our root cellar, canned goods storage, kind of overflow pantry is. I did a tour of this space last month. I'll put a link in this video. But when I'm canning and I finish stuff, I can just take it directly down there, which is so handy to not have to haul it all the way into the house. So that was kind of an unexpected bonus. We decided to get stainless steel tables in here instead of like permanent counters or cabinets, just because we wanted versatility to rearrange things depending on what we were doing. And underneath them, I store all of my processing supplies. So I have totes that have like bags and labels and egg cartons and various things in them. I have our grinder, our slicer, all of that stuff just tucked away underneath when we're not using it. I also have this propane outdoor stove that I use for canning, and I also have the griddle on it, which is awesome. I love that for cooking out here in the summertime. Now, one of the things that I'm considering for phase 2 of this project is potentially adding more storage space on the shelves. The biggest thing is that I want to obviously be able to keep things where it's convenient, but I don't want to make the space feel cluttered. I don't want to have, a lot of ways that things can collect dust. So I'm just trying to be mindful. I also have totes on top of the fridge and the freezer, which has worked really, really well for me. But sometimes I'm thinking it would be nice just to have like open shelves where I can grab things without having to pull up an entire, ladder and dig through a tote. Now, 2 things we intended to do initially when we did this project was to put a drain in the floor and also to put wood on the ceiling. Both of those just didn't end up being in budget, money or time-wise, our first go-around, but I'm thinking that this is the year we finally get those done. The ceiling, of course, is more just going to be for aesthetics. It'll be a nice, cleaned, finished look to the space. But the drain will have some more function just for making things more cleanable, being able to kind of hose stuff down and just push it in versus right now I just have to mop like you normally would. Now, another thing you may have noticed over in the corner here by the stairs is a commercial dishwasher. That is something that I found at an estate sale for like $120 a year or 2 ago actually, and we never got around to installing it. I actually don't even know if it works, but that is also on the list this year to see if we can finally hook it up and utilize it. We have other things that we plan to add to this space someday. We'd love to add in a walk-in cooler and maybe some upgraded meat processing equipment like a bandsaw, but those are kind of our goals for upgrading this year. Like many homestead projects, you just have to do things in phases as budget and time allows. But I hope you guys enjoyed this tour of the space. Hope it gave you an idea of maybe something you might want to add to your homestead. If you have any questions, things I forgot, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys next time.